Okay. These dogs are crazy. Woo! Those dogs are a hassle. As soon as you open that door, they are ready to go. What's going on, guys? My name is Ashton, if you're new here, and I'm a filmmaker in the Austin area. And today, I wanted to talk a little bit about habits. I know it's not really the biggest or the most exciting thing to talk about, but good habits are the stepping stone to help you get to whatever it is that you want to achieve. And they say that success is the byproduct of daily habits, and I'm a firm believer in that, and that's why I want to talk about it today. Before I move on any further, I do want to give credit where it is due, and just say that all of the information in this video is coming from a guy named James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. And I'm not gonna dive too deep into how to build habits or go into that much detail about it. I'm just gonna sort of give my take on it and just talk about how I've been able to sort of build habits on my own and what I've been able to take from certain authors and other people who are very fashioned in this kind of stuff and just kind of make it work for me, essentially. If you can refine your habits, then you can refine your life. And that just means that the power lies within what you do every single day on a consistent basis. So generally speaking, habits have a cycle that consists of 4 levels: cue, craving, response, and reward. Cue represents noticing the reward, where craving represents wanting the reward, and the response means obtaining the reward. The reward speaks for itself, but it's also the most important part because it's what is going to promote you to repeat the habit loop. And if you're not rewarding yourself, then there's no fun in it. And the whole point in building habits should be to have fun with it. So reward yourself when necessary, and don't forget about that, because it is what's going to allow you to repeat the process and make it a habit. And one of the most effective ways to starting a new habit is this thing that's called implementation intention. And all that is really just a fancy phrase for being intentional. So being intentional about where and when to act. We need visual cues in order to start the habit process. So that means we really need to get really specific. You might say something like, when I finish editing this video, I'll take the dogs on a walk. And that might be good, but be a little more specific in the detail so that you know exactly when your cue is. For example, instead of saying, after I finish this video, I'm gonna take the dogs on a walk, you could say, as soon as I hit that export button, I'm gonna take my dogs on a 20-minute walk. I find that having a clear-cut answer of knowing when that cue is gonna help you actually go about it and be more serious with whatever habit you're intending on doing. This process is also known as something that's called habit stacking, which is really just taking your current habits and trying to stack a new habit on top of that and using your current habit as the cue to do the new habit. I have found this to be extremely helpful for me, and so have the dogs, because they've gone on plenty of more walks because of it. So making sure that the cue is obvious is a crucial part of the process, because it's the first law of behavior change. We are visual creatures by nature, meaning that we need to set up our environments to support the habits that we're trying to instill in our lives. If you're trying to cut down on a bad habit, then just flip the switch and just make it as unobvious as possible. Make it invisible. Whatever the cue is that's allowing you to keep doing these bad habits, do the opposite. Just get it out of your room, get it out of your sight, get the pack of cigarettes out of your room so that you're not more inclined to actually pick up the pack of cigarettes and smoke it. That's the most basic example that I can give, but you get my point. Regardless, just be mindful of the spaces that you spend a lot of your time in and try to set up as many obvious cues as possible. Set the journal right next to your keyboard so that when you wake up and you go to your desk in the morning, you're more inclined to journal. Set a book next to your journal so that every time you finish journaling, you're more inclined to read the book because you're setting up cues for yourself. These are just examples of what I have done, but it all started with just setting up a bunch of obvious visual cues in my environment. And lastly, don't be afraid to identify yourself with your new habit. Don't focus too much on an achievement or the end goal, so to speak, but rather focus on the type of person that you want to become. Because then you can ask yourself when you're in the situation, let's say you're trying to lose weight, whenever you see a pound cake sitting over there calling your name, you can have the courage to say, what would a healthy person do? And this is why so many people lose weight for their wedding day, but then end up gaining it back because they were so focused on the achievement that once they got the achievement, they said to hell with the person that they were becoming and they lose it. And then they find themselves back at square one later on. So focus on the type of person that you want to become, and before you know it, you'll be the person that you never thought that you would be. Just want to say it again and make it very clear that this information was pulled from Mr. James Clear himself. God, I'm gonna be full of dad jokes when I get older. Can't wait. But anyways, seriously, thanks to James Clear and other amazing authors such as Charles Duhigg, and I think that's how you say his name, and Stephen Covey, or Cohey. All these guys have spent a lot of their time diving into the biological side of ourselves and how things actually affect us on a day-to-day basis, and realizing how we can change that for the better of ourselves. One of the greatest things in Atomic Habits that James Clear says is to try to just be 1% better every single day. I love that because it's small wins. It's focused on the small wins. But one of the biggest and most important things about building new habits is to just remind yourself of this. Do not focus on perfection. Focus on repetition and focus on doing it over and over and over, and realize that you're gonna have days where you mess up. When you miss a day or you miss 2 days, I would honestly say that's a good point to know that you need to get back on it. So if you miss a couple days, don't be hard on yourself. Just get back to it with a fresh mindset. That's about it, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope y'all took something away from this. This is a huge topic and it's kind of hard to talk about it and give you something tangible for you to actually leave this video and make a difference. But if there's anything that I want to leave you with, it's that we're all humans at the end of the day, meaning none of us are perfect. So stop expecting yourself to be and just focus on being persistent and focus on that type of person that you want to become. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace. I was about to wrap this up and close everything out, but if you're interested in any of these books, or if you're interested in the book that I was talking about, I'll make sure to link them down below. Yeah, go check it out. Okay, I'm out of here. Bye. Did you go look at the book yet? It's down there in the description.